Welcome to Roots and Ruminants, your podcast for creative and innovative use of farm, pasture, and rangeland. We're going back to the basics of raising and grazing livestock, growing your own forage, and practical land use. Here we are. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Roots and Ruminants. Justin and I are joining you here with update on what's been going on this spring and all the happenings of the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been maybe 10 days since our last podcast, something like that. As far as spring progress, boy, we're kind of in the same boat, I think, is where we've been, and we're just going to kind of stay that way here for probably the next 10 days with guys doing a little bit of planting work. We've talked through calving season, all the happenings then. So maybe something fun to talk about that I think is actually kind of intriguing is yesterday I got back from Mexico, traveled down there for a quick 4-day trip to Aguascalientes, Mexico. And I was invited down there to judge their National Katahdin Hair Sheep Show, which is awesome. It's like, if you know big shows in the United States, it's like the nail, right? The Louisville type of show. This is their grand finale, big show for the year. So beautiful show, beautiful facility, awesome people. Just I absolutely adored it, to be honest.
This is a two-peat for you, right?
Yep. I went down there a few years ago.
Oh.
Same place, Aguascalientes.
It wasn't last year though.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
I thought it was a couple
It's
years.
been a few years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to go back and judged the Katahdin Hair Sheep Show down there. So.
And they have other hair sheep breeds showing down there.
Yeah, so it's real similar to like our state fair encampments, where certain breeds come in for a period of time, and then the next encampment comes in. So they already had their wool sheep show. They had the Rambouillets and the Suffolks and the Hampshires. This encampment was Dorpers, White Dorpers, Katahdin, and Black Belly. So basically all the hair breeds.
What's a black belly?
Black bellies they look like a Barbados black belly. So
it's Barbados.
Brown with a
black
belly. They're very sleek, very narrow, kind of a very thrifty, low maintenance sheep.
Yep.
Thrives on cactuses and dust.
Are Romanovs still a thing? Weren't Romanovs a thing for a while? Are they still a thing?
Yeah, I think they're actually beginning to be a bit bigger thing in the United States again. It seems like there's people that are using Romanovs within their Katahdin Dorper flocks just to increase their lambing percentage.
The drop.
And they will quickly do it, but they still want the shedding ability of like a Katahdin. So just trying to incorporate a little bit of Romanov.
So Romanovs are not a shedding breed?
No, they're very bare-legged and bare. They don't have a whole lot of wool on their neck or belly, but they do have wool.
And are fins? What about fin sheep?
They're kind of built the same way. I think their body shape is very similar.
So they're not really considered. I mean, like fins don't really have. They just have really bad quality wool, where it's just like straight to it.
It's so open. It's a very open fleece, and they're so dainty and frail, much like the Romanovs.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, none of that is relevant to what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's all relevant actually.
Well, kind of. Okay, so like how many Katahdins show up for?
180 Katahdins.
Okay.
They do things a little bit different as far as like the age classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have multiple. I think there's between the Ram and the ewe show, within each sex there's probably 10 classes, and they go a little older, like a year and a half on a brood ewe. So
the picture you sent me had some pretty mature sheep, wasn't it?
That's the champion and reserve were from the two oldest age groups. Of the ewes. Yeah. Yep. Big broody sheep. So just like no different than breeders of livestock in the United States, where there is definitely some parity between the commercial side of things and the show ring. So
Yeah.
you've got people selecting sheep specifically for the show ring down in Mexico, just like you do in the United States.
Sure.
And a lot of it is, you know, wealthy people wanting a flock of sheep to do good in the show ring. So
Mm-hmm.
very similar here too, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, these sheep are much bigger than their normal commercial flocks, heavier boned.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite as thrifty as some of the commercial sheep
Sure.
in the Mexico landscape.
Sure. What did you when you got home? Did you strip down and check yourself for screwworms? It's tick season
Yeah,
here.
somebody block. Yeah, please go through my hair, Chris. Oh shoot.
You didn't find
Yeah,
any.
so I mean the cattle show is going on too at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Has
And
that? I mean, did that affect? Like, are they doing quarantines within the country? Do they have to like have inspection or anything? Or anybody saying anything?
well, I mean that when you go through
Yeah.
customs, you're supposed to
Yeah.
write down
But
if you've been around livestock and declare
right.
if you've been. And of course, I did that so that I didn't get questioned.
Well, every
Stuff.
time, okay, when I have done it in the past, like when I've been traveling internationally, Uruguay or China or Nicaragua or even whatever, half the time if you say yes, they don't do anything anyway. They're just like, oh, okay. Even from like foot and mouth disease regions. And so then half the time when I have done it, they like go through this, they just ask you like a bunch more questions and then they send you down your way anyway, but it delays you for like 45 minutes because they're just like, where, why, what? It's like, what does it matter? What are you going to do? Are you going to detain me? If I say something, are you going to detain me? I was literally like when I came back from China, I actually self quarantined. Well, we came back. Well, Jesse was just getting done at National Buffet Convention, so I went to Louisville, thinking like I'm not going to be around livestock.
Yeah,
Just quarantine. And so instead, I went to the largest agricultural gathering with people from every state in Puerto Rico, directly from China, and it was in like a foot and mouth disease area like 4 days before that. But I mean, it's not.
you are the swine flu reason.
No, I'm not the swine flu. I like saw like 3 pigs when I was over there. I was beef stuff, cattle stuff. And the sport, you can't like give the spores to other people to get the sport. Like it's not like how it works. It would have been problematic if I would have like jumped off the plane and like went right out in the pasture and wrangled a calf and that was dying of asphyxiation and breathe life back into it. Like that's, I think, what I would have to do. But I mean, you throw your clothes away, you throw your shoes away, you throw your boots away. I gave her,
You did?
yeah. Well, I gave them to people. I found like the only Chinese guy I thought that would even come close to fit in my shoe size and gave him a pair of boots and gave him a hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
It is, like when you think about the transmission and spreading of disease that from herd to herd, and then you think it on as a worldwide global outlook scene and how that can actually happen, and you break it down, right? Like, okay, so I'll back up. Like from state to state, right? Like you look at health papers and how the proper transportation is supposed to happen from breeding stock from state to state and how the government tries to control that with a vet approved transaction.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the practice or the reality of it is just things go all over everywhere all the time.
Right? They do.
And then you spread out from there, from state to state to then country to country.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this, right? Like, okay, you go to this fair, you see livestock, you're around livestock, you come back, and then, within 8 hours, I'm back around my sheep from sheep I was just around.
Yeah.
And people do that with all sorts of livestock.
Yeah.
Right. So it's harder to control than what you think. And but less bad things happen too than what one would think.
Yeah. Well, even
or at least that's my perception.
Frozen semen, frozen embryos is even crazier, right? Like it has a like an airtight zona, right? Zona pellucida around it. Okay, but you have to trypsin wash those 3 times if you're going to export. So you can't just like freeze an embryo. So that's going in liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
Just an embryo in a very sterile environment. To do it, you still have to do through 3 trypsin washes, like a disinfectant, antibacterial wash to wash the embryos to then freeze them to put them in a shipper to go. And you think like, well, how many things are going to even survive the cryopreservation process and actually make it through there? But that's a real thing, and then 12 months later to have a singular viral spore
Yeah.
be able to like get implanted and transfer disease. But those things, so there's like a ton of precautions on a lot of stuff, and then other things it's like, okay, I don't know if you're ever gonna lock it down tight.
Yeah. But
I
like
still
how I don't know. I would say and be in favor of less regulation, less rules, especially from state to state. I mean, oh man, I get frustrated with health papers when you're
state to
going to
state
a
is kind
show
of
and you're so.
state to state is
Um,
kind of silly. Yeah.
but like if you're buying semen, if you're buying embryos, and things are coming from a different country, even then, things have to be in biosecurity for a certain period of time
And
before.
the quarantine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, like the likelihood of some disease being transferred through
Yeah.
semen or embryo is so small, but there's a lot of
It
regulation.
is, but apparently it's happened, and that's also why I like living in a northern climate, because there is
That's true.
like 80% of the taxonomy is just like doesn't matter. It's not going to survive the winter
Gonna
here.
die at some point.
Yeah, it's going to die at some point.
Yeah.
It'll go away. But, So did you buy anything down there?
No, I would love to buy genetics from there, but the United States has a scrapie program and only can purchase genetics like semen embryos from other countries that have a similar program. So we cannot export or import anything from Mexico.
Really?
But semen tanks do float and things do come across rivers,
Yeah.
supposedly, is what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Like several million undocumented people that come over per year. I think it'd be a
Yeah.
little bit hard to say that there
So
hasn't
we'll
been.
see. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be really cool to try to
Yeah.
somehow, some way find some, but I don't really know how. I need more connections. I need to speak better Espanol. Yo hablo español un poquito.
Mm.
So it's just like you know, my favorite part about being there was trying to have conversations with other livestock breeders.
Okay.
No different than going to the barn at the South Dakota State Fair, sitting in the pens, and you're hanging out, you're drinking a beer, or in this case, a tequila, and we're talking about sheep.
Yeah.
I always needed somebody else in the conversation to have some sort of ability to translate or at least speak a little English so that we could communicate. And I said
Yeah.
this said this to my wife last night too. I was like, "Have you ever seen Dances with Wolves? You have, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
Everybody has. You're not
18.
American if you haven't."
Yeah.
So um, there's the point where Kevin Costner he's in the teepee with the
Yeah.
Indians for the first time, and they're trying to speak, and he has Kicking Bird
Yeah.
trying to communicate with the
Translate.
other people, and I was like, man, I felt like that so many times, and I had to write down. So like in my notes in my phone, I would always write descriptions of these people with their names and like their personality. And
Yeah.
if you can't understand their language, you don't totally understand the personality,
Yeah.
but you get some glimpses of how serious they are, how funny they are, and so there's the what they would say is their best burrito in Mexico. This very serious person, and his name was very hard to pronunciate. I don't. Um, we tried to have conversations lots of times, but he spoke zero English, zero,
Yeah.
and but you could tell like we had this respect for each other, right? Like I got done judging his sheep, and he knew I was a Katahdin breeder, and I know he's a very, very great Katahdin breeder. And at the very end of the show, on the last day, he came up to me and he brought a college student with him, and it was like this respect, like, hey, I just want to tell you I really respect you, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, tell him I really want to.
Yeah.
I also really want to tell him that I respect him, and language barrier is awesome. But I think I should say awesome. It's hard, but it's awesome because you get to see somebody differently without saying word.
Yeah. Right. There's less BS to it. It's more genuine because it's harder. to convey things. So you usually convey them more simply, and more simply is usually more, profound.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well put. Good livestock. Actually, so last time I was down there, their cattle shows are going on, and I thought their cattle were very dainty and frail, and not very good. And I don't know if it was different breeds then or what, but their Charolais and their Limousine shows were going on this time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were great, like
Really?
very good, very comparable
Huh.
to Charolais and Limousine here. The one thing they do better than the United States, and this is, I think, both cattle and sheep, is they put more priority on character,
Okay.
breed
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
So limousines, they are all red,
Red.
right? And they look like an old school limousine.
Mm-hmm.
And so like and a Charolais here, like if you find a really good female Charolais here, she
Yeah.
doesson have near the muscle shape in her quarters.
No.
She's
It's
soft. She's built like an Angus, right? Like
just
you
like a
just pick her
Kenia.
up like
Yeah.
or that, yeah.
Everything looks like a Maine Kenia cross.
Yeah.
It's pretty real, pretty much.
So the build is very true to that breed standard across all
Huh.
the breeds. So that's kind of something to
That is
respect,
kind of
I
nice.
guess.
Yeah. Did you get any sense? Were you able to like ask like any of the livestock breeders, the cattle guys, especially what's going on with the border being closed? Is it affecting them? What are they doing?
Yeah, they're very nervous. There was two different times where it came up. When you're talking government and
Mm-hmm.
policy and stuff and prices, and they aren't in a good position with any of their commodities right now. And
Okay.
so most of the farmers are hurting, and the cattle ranchers, they're very nervous
Yeah.
just because of supply building up and worrying about when when will things open up? When will prices go up for them?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I wonder how long. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have bet you a year ago that border would be open by now. I thought they would have opened it in the winter when they had a window, you know what I mean? Where, you kind of had some cooler temperatures up here to kind of stop it. If it's not open by now, I'm guessing that it's probably not going to be open until it gets cold again. Because I would think that the flies are moving north. I mean, it's a fly, right? Screwworm's a fly. It's not a worm, it's a fly. It's going to literally fly and spread. It sounds like the sterile fly facility is not supposed to be open until the fall of 2027 that we have that would kind of inundate, and, eliminate it once it got here at scale. So if that's the timeline, that's a long time. That's a year and a half from now.
That's a long time.
That's to open it up to even get it started. There, at that point, it's 2.5 years. There's some real structural, 2.5, 3 years. That's some real structural industry changes that are going to happen. And when Mad Cow did something similar to Canada, right, when that deal was closed for several years, it did not take long for them. I mean, it was the start of the process, but they have their cow herd. Canada's cow herd is half what it was, 10 years after BSC versus 5 years before it was half. It took 15 years to get rid of cull half their cows and start raising canola, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But, well, yeah, that would be very, very frustrating for them. It seems to be very, very bullish for us here.
Yeah. Talk about a political position that can really shift long-term production of a whole entire country
Mm-hmm.
that only benefits you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nuts.
I wish we had as many tweets about the, Mexican border being closed as we do about the Strait of Hormuz being closed from our president and Mexico, like Iran is. That'd make things more entertaining if every hour and a half we had to have another conversation about that being closed. It's wild.
For sure.
Because that's still closed too, that Hormuz Strait.
Yeah, right.
I see oil's up 7. I think people are kind of finally starting to not pay attention to the assuasions of the administration that are saying everything's going to be fine. And I think they're starting to realize that might not be real fine. You know what I mean? might
Hmm.
be some problems from this. So see how that plays out.
Yeah, right. I mean, I, when I was down there, I was putting things on Snapchat, and people were responding back, "Don't get shot, be safe." Like, so what you're saying about um, the power of media is very real,
Yeah.
whether it's right or wrong,
Right.
on par or completely off base.
Right.
Uh, where I was in the middle of Mexico, right?
Yep.
Like, not a beach, not
Yeah. Not a
like
border town.
this isn't, yeah, this is not a tourist area where there's people that are used to Americans and stuff like that. If Mexico would be, and there are other spots in Mexico, other areas in Mexico that might be more dangerous, but this was completely safe. This was like being at the South Dakota State Fair.
Yeah.
Just is agriculture people with their families
Yeah.
bringing livestock to a show,
Probably
and it was
safer than Minnesota State Fair.
way safer than the Minnesota State Fair. For real, it was. Yeah. So like, and I had that conversation with many Mexicans about like this is safe. How come all we hear is about, the
Yeah.
cartel in Mexico? And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess the cartel exists, but we don't really, I don't know.
Don't deal with it where they
It's
live
not a
at the
problem
time.
here,
Yeah.
and maybe in Mexico City and maybe Jalisco and like along paths of
Yeah. Of
where
course.
drugs
Yeah.
move, then there might be a part that's dangerous.
Yeah. Huh.
No different than maybe Chicago to Minneapolis or Detroit to Chicago or
Yeah.
LA to somewhere. Like there's probably parts and paths where
Yeah.
it makes it dangerous.
So you didn't buy anything? Did you sell anything? Because they can buy from us, can't they? Can they buy
Yes, we
cheap from
can.
us?
No, yeah, we can send
Anybody on
stuff to
the
Mexico.
online sale? Anything show up in the online sale last night?
Uh yeah, we had an online production sheep sale last night. Nothing went to Mexico, but two went to Puerto Rico.
Oh,
So that's kind of like that.
so where do you take them then? I mean,
These will go through, they have to quarantine in Texas
Texas? Okay.
before. So, and that'll happen this summer. We'll get them down to Missouri, then they'll catch a ride to Texas, and then they'll go to
Okay.
Puerto Rico.
The Galveston, or where do they go out?
I think so. I think that's
Yep.
right. Yep.
When I was down at 7L Angus in Mississippi in 2004, 5, 2000, they actually ran a APHIS approved export facility, and we housed stuff that was going to Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. So it's random stuff. We had a couple buffalo I had to feed.
Really? Have you been to Puerto Rico? We should go. So the family that bought them also came to our home 2 days ago. Or was that just yesterday? They came to our home and they wanted to see our flock. Great people, had a great conversation about Puerto Rico. And it sounds like an awesome place to visit. Could be like this happy medium of taking the whole family. I could go to some ranches, see some livestock, and then maybe even still go to a nice beach. So it could be a beautiful place to visit.
So you're back. I'm
Yes.
guessing that 4 days gone this time of year was, you know, a little.
Yeah.
You got plenty to do when you get home.
Yeah, I invited a lot of people to come with me, and everybody said the same thing. You're leaving in the middle of calving season and planting season.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and it is. It was hard, but fortunately, my family's awesome. My wife stayed back, and her and our oldest son Mason calved out cows. Did a great job. Got through a little bit of rainy, cold weather, and yeah, things are all
Yeah.
good. But
Right.
that's kind of where we're at now. Is like in the heat of it with calving season, planting season, and then next it's like time to get some pairs out to grass probably.
Yeah, it's maybe one of the most stressful like weeks of my year, which is like the week before you can start taking stuff to grass because you've not eliminated any chores, you've not eliminated any work that happens with like that, final, accomplishment. So you have all this stuff going on, and there's really not a lot you can do about it. So we have 50 pairs worked. We're going to go on to some rye, which is good. And that's been a little slow. Like I'd have loved to
It
go 10 days
has been.
ago, but that
Yes.
was a little too soon to stop feeding them. I mean, they could have been out there, but to stop feeding. So got half of them out there yesterday. The other half will go out today. And that will be good. Only problem with that is that they are going to a field which is fenced for corn stalk grazing, right? So three good
One hot
barbs,
wire.
three good,
Oh,
you
three
know,
good barbs.
three
That's not
good,
bad.
three good barbs, one bad one. It is good except for like week-old calves, which don't respect fences anyway, so there'll be a lot of calves in the ditch for a while. We're gonna go splice that up a little bit, but it's just kind of unavoidable. So went and got some high magnesium tubs just in case.
A little
You know,
grass tetany prevention.
yeah. Well, they're like first calf heifer, second calf heifer
Ah,
pairs,
yeah, for sure.
and it's like losing. You can buy a lot of high magnesium tubs for $6,000 if you happen to lose one of them. So
True that. Good.
maybe time to. I don't normally do that. Some years I'd just be like, let's just do it. But this year I'm like, I don't know. They're milking good, coming off silage, going onto that. I think that they might have a little bit of a shock to their
Well,
system.
well, especially if, like this rye has been, I don't want to say stunted, but slow, and it
Mm-hmm.
probably really wants to get going. And now we had some rain, and if we get a little bit of heat, boom, it's going to take off. And that's really when you're going to see that issue too. That
Yeah.
fast growth, flush of growth.
So we put the tubs out 3 days ahead of time so they can kind of get in their system a little bit first, and then have them while they're out there. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully don't have any issues. I don't expect any issues. But then they're going to move on to the 40 acres of rye. They'll be out there for a month-ish, and then we'll have rested. So it's usually the pasture that we go out to first anyway, because it's like right by the calving facility.
Mm-hmm.
So it always probably gets a little faster turnout than it should. We're probably fully turned out on there by the 8th, 10th of May. That's plenty early for some native grasses. So now we're going to be able to stretch that out all the way to June, and hoping to use that to increase stocking rates by 25% on that group, because we're going to give it a full month to stockpile and get used to it before we rotate in through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be our AI group too, which means that there's more head right close to home, more in the AI group. Anyway, excited if it all works out.
Yeah. Yep. The planning of turnout with even like breeding groups too. You do just take a bit of planning to make it all orchestrated right.
Yep. So I think we're going to go through then also and sort off all of the good looking lambs, which is like most of them, like 3/4 of them, all the good looking lambs. Wean them, right? Because they're all like 60 to 90 days old. And then all the ones that look a little tough that probably aren't going to be replacement, probably aren't going to be ram, probably aren't going to be anything special anyway, we're probably just going to kick them back out with the ewes on grass. Just run a little grass group. They might be orphans by now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it'll give them some more time, put on some weight. Hopefully they'll come off at 75, 80 pounds instead of having a 35 pounder, you know what I mean, in the week.
Yeah. It should flush up awesome this time.
Yeah.
Got some age, just need a little nutrition, sunlight, and go.
Yeah. We're running a creep system, so if I look outside right now, most of the lambs, we just have some continuous fence panels around the back of the barn where the big group of ewes are now. So all the lambs can get out and the ewes cannot. And we're, got a 1/4 mile long driveway. We don't have any traffic anyway. The garden's not planted yet or nothing's coming up. Like there's nothing they're going to get into. So they just literally run laps around the house and out in the hayfield and stuff, and they don't do any damage and gets them out of the mud.
That's a great creep feeder.
It is. It's not bad. It's kind of fun.
That's kind of like what we've talked about with the collars on the cows, and the calves don't have it, and the cows are able to graze ahead of where the cows are, and them get in a bit better nutritional plane all the time.
Yep. Kind of same thing, except around my house.
Yep. Cool.
They haven't come into the house yet. They haven't come into the porch of the garage yet. They're not getting quite that ambitious yet, but they go pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah, they get a little braver each time, I think.
Yeah.
A little bigger.
Yeah. So we'll sign off.
That is the season.
Get to work.
That's where we're at. Okay. Sounds great. Well, thank you everybody for listening once again to the Roots and Ruminants podcast. Appreciate your time checking in, and check us out in another week and a half, and we'll have another episode out for you.
Join us next spring in Puerto Rico.
There we go. All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Well, we hope you enjoyed another episode of the Roots and Ruminants podcast. Let us know what you thought of it. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those social media things. And, if you ever have any questions, just give us a call. We've got a toll-free number here at 888-498-7333. Be glad to hear from you. Thank you.